What if? What if you knew you're Jesus? You heard me right. What if you knew you were Jesus? Let's dive into that today. Hey there, my name is Gavin. This is the 1 Minute Vlog. We are going to be talking about that question, like if you knew you were Jesus, right? And I fully understand this is maybe controversial. It's possibly considered blasphemy. It's not necessarily something that all people, look at. But, feel free to put in there, instead of Jesus, Buddha or Gandhi, or Yogananda, whoever you might think is enlightened, right? Yet, I have always been drawn to Jesus, not the Bible Jesus. I haven't read the Bible. It never resonated with me. In fact, I've had an aversion to it because every time, most of it was that doesn't speak truth to me. A judging God. Everything that not everything, but a lot of things that are taught in the Bible just don't resonate with me. I'll just leave it at that. I'm a Course in Miracles student. And that book, like no other teaching, has spoken to me. And the reason being is because immediately every word it just feels like truth. Feels like this knowing, feels like this remembrance. And if you don't know about Course in Miracles, it was scribed by Helen Schucman and is written essentially by Jesus, okay? And so why I'm this topic, imagine what it would be like if you were Jesus, is that, spoiler alert, you are Jesus. I am Jesus. We all are Jesus. We are all enlightened. We are all one. We are all God. Yet, we've forgotten. And when you forget, look at our lives. Look at your life. If there's things not going the way you want, and I don't mean having things go the way you want is the answer, but if you're not connected to love and source and abundance, if you're not in this absolute grateful, peaceful state, you've forgotten. And I'm telling you, every day, multiple times a day, I've forgotten. Yet, let's take a look at what it would look like if we haven't forgotten. If we showed up as what Jesus says that we are, and that what he was teaching, that we are no different than him. And that's the missed message. He showed that we're not a body by, dying on a cross and then resurrecting. That was showing that we're eternal, that we're not bodies, right? That nothing of the flesh could ever be threatened, right? And that was a demonstration of that. The other demonstration was miracles. What was happening with Jesus when, it seemed like everywhere he goes, he could just perform miracles. And there's so many great videos on this that kind of describe it from a metaphysical and almost science standpoint. But ultimately, Jesus saw people for who they really are. Jesus refused to see into the illusion of any lack, of any sickness, of anything that wasn't God or love. And therefore, that was the reflection of what was experienced. And all those around him were oh my gosh, look at this. That's a miracle. That's unbelievable, right? And there wasn't any ego in that with Jesus. It was a demonstration of who we all are, a demonstration of possibility. There wasn't any like form of like goals or getting or, look at me or showing off. It was all the proof of who he was. It was all giving and, absolute love. And that's what it looked like. So, I know, I speak for myself, like I've always, really been connected to like Jesus and drawn to Jesus, and like Yogananda and Buddha would be like my three. And like that innocence, that knowing, and like that absolute love that they represent. And so what I've begun to start doing for years, minutes at a time, hours at a time, sometimes days, but that I constantly forget, is to come from only love, right? What about the Onement t-shirts? And what does that look like? In my mind, I go out into my day, into that moment, into what is only real of this now. And I think to myself, like, the saying, like, what would Jesus do? What would Yogananda do? And it starts with like changing my mind with what I'm seeing. Jesus didn't buy any of the garbage out there. Every person Jesus came into contact with, he saw as God. He saw as a reflection of truth and who he was. Every animal, nature, everything was a reflection of what he knew was real, and that oneness. So therefore, he wasn't worried about himself. He wasn't worried about like getting. He wasn't worried about like what people thought of him. He wasn't worried about dying, because he knew there's no death. He knew that person that his eyes were seeing was God. And that's the imagining. Like, imagine if we were able to develop that mental knowing, that mental, like that mindset, that mind of oneness. It'd be just nothing but grace. It'd be nothing but gratitude. It'd be nothing but smiles and joy and abundance and light in the expression of what appears to be this body, but that like we know is just this temporary vehicle, that we're so much more than that. And how did Jesus like do that? Like, I've read a lot of like books on Jesus, like from channeled people that I really feel like are tapped in. And he in the beginning lived a normal life, and like that was like a lot of his purpose in being was to be like, I get the pain, I get the experience, I get what it's like to feel limited and in this body. And as time went on, he also had this deep knowing that there was more to the picture. And I know if you're watching this, you feel the same way. I feel the same way. That's why I'm doing these videos, right? Yet there's this frustration. There's this like, that's, out of our reach. It's not as possible. I have the things of this world, right? Yet, as his life went on, he slowly went within more. He slowly increased his vibration. He slowly dissolved the illusion that he was separate. He left the world of duality, and his life became the expression of oneness, the expression that everything out there was his creation, and that there was no separation. And I don't know about you, that sounds amazing. That's where we're all headed if we remember, if we choose, if we welcome it, if we allow it. That's my word for the year, is allowing. And over, whether it's reading the course or reading other books or these podcasts or these videos or conversations or sharing or being awareness and looking at what's going on. Like all of this, my friends, all of this is reawakening to who you are, reawakening that you are enlightened, that you are the light. And as often as you can, I recommend imagining that you're whoever your enlightened person is. For me, it's Jesus. Because you are, and you're in the process of becoming that. You are. We already are that. We just don't realize it always. And when it happens, the problems fall away. The fear isn't there. The knowing, that bliss, that connection to God and source and love is an unbelievable feeling. And when you feel awful, it's because you know who you really are, and you know this isn't the way it's supposed to be. And it's an awful feeling to be disconnected from that source and from that truth. So right now, write it down, go tell a friend, write it in the comments. Like imagine, like describe, what it would look like for you, for your day, for the next few minutes, for the next few hours. How would you go about your day if you knew you were Jesus? I'm going to be doing that today. I would love to hear from you on your journey of that. And I'm so honored, to be on this journey with you, that this is all a sacred time in this world that feels like upheaval. It feels like insanity. Are you kidding me? There's balloons and UFOs and trains going off the track and Ukraine and all kinds of stuff. Is that the truth, or is that the darkness within us getting mirrored out here and giving us the opportunity to heal and to let go of what's not true? I ask you, imagine if you knew you were Jesus. We all are. We all are one. We all are connected. We all are already enlightened and awakened. And it's our choice to have heaven here on earth, or to forget and to stay stuck in the pain and what can be the hell and choose to stay there. I'm ready to continue breaking free and dissolving that. And I invite you to do the same. So share this, like this. I want to hear from you. What was your, what did you really, what came up for you? Did you not like that I used the word Jesus? Did you connect with Jesus? Who is your person? What would it mean for you? Describe it. It's powerful to put things into words. And would love to hear from you. So, much love, my friends, on this path back to who we really are in oneness. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.